Coming up on the Vegas Nation Best of the Draft show, the Raiders have added a handful of new players to their squad. We'll break down the picks for you. We'll also take a listen to the moment those players received a once-in-a-lifetime phone call.
You want to be a Las Vegas Raider?
Yes, I love it.
You go tell your family to pack their bags, you're going to Vegas.
The Vegas Nation Best of the Draft show, sponsored by the South Point Sportsbook, kicks off right now. Welcome in, football fans. Your Vegas Nation hosts Cassie Soto and Adam Hill here inside of the South Point Sportsbook. The 2021 NFL Draft has officially come to a close, and the Las Vegas Raiders have added 7 new players. Adam, let's go ahead and break down this draft class, starting with the 17th overall pick and offensive tackle Alex Leatherwood.
Yeah, Alex Leatherwood had a very, very good career at Alabama. There were some questions coming in about how he would adapt to the NFL. A lot of teams might have wanted to make him a guard, and that's why a lot of the projections had him going maybe second, even possibly into the third round, because if you're a guard, your value isn't quite the same. But listen, he was very, very productive at the college level. One of the best linemen in the country, in fact, was named the best lineman in the country by some of the analysts. So very good college career, but questions about how he adjusts to the NFL level. The Raiders really believe in him. Tom Cable apparently was pounding the table. That's the phrase they use inside the Raiders facility. He really wanted this guy. He thinks he can make him a star at the NFL level. And the Raiders said, no, not a guard. He's a tackle. And in fact, he is the starting right tackle from day one for the Raiders. So if you get a starter in the first round from day one, you're pretty happy.
Well, moving on to day 2 now, Adam. In rounds 2 and 3, the Raiders went all defense. Do you think that they drafted the right guys to help shape and turn this defense around, more importantly?
Well, I think if you start at the top with Trayvon Marring, a very, very, very good safety. I thought the best safety in the class. Most of the mock draft analysts thought he was the best safety in the class as well. He wasn't the first one picked. He did slide down the board a little bit. There were some questions about a back injury. Could have moved him down. But listen, this is a guy who was very productive again in college, led the nation twice in a row, 2 years in a row. He led in pass breakups for safeties, so he's a really, really good ball defender, and he's going to play that center field role, allow Jonathan Abram to move up and play that box safety role, so he can play close to the line of scrimmage. He can make those plays in the run game and let Merrick kind of patrol center field. This is an ideal pick for the Raiders. Fills another need, the other need they had as a starting player. They've got those both filled in those first 2 picks, and that gave them some flexibility the rest of the way.
All right, well, rounding it out here, 3 more players drafted in rounds 4 through 7. These day 3 guys, Adam, even though they were drafted later in the draft, we know that sometimes these guys shape up to be some of the most impactful players on a team, do they not?
Yeah, and especially like if you can find guys that make the team. A lot of these guys in the late rounds don't really even have a chance to make teams. They might end up on practice squads. The Raiders said they want to find guys that are going to make the team. That's their kind of criteria for how they make these selections. And I think that they've got some guys here. Like Jimmy Morrissey is a guy at center, provided some depth. It's an area of need. They try to get younger and cheaper on the offensive line. He's a guy that can grow into it, and he's a hard worker. We know that. Was a walk-on in college, moved his way up to starter, gets drafted, and I think he said, hey, listen, I'm ready to work and show that I can play at this level. So they've got guys that, are going to be hungry to try to make the team. Guys that have something to prove, have a chip on their shoulder because they weren't those highly touted players coming into this draft.
All right, Adam. Well, my personal favorite part of the draft is these draft call videos, seeing guys have their NFL dreams come true. Let's take a look now at the Raiders draft calls and when these players got their own personal call.
Hey, it's Mike Mayock from the Raiders. You ready to go, man? Hey, let me tell you something. I played free safety and it wasn't anything close to the way you play it, brother. Welcome. Hey, I'm gonna put Coach Gruden on. He's like trying to get this phone away from me like you can't believe. Say hi to Coach Gruden.
Hey, Trayvon, you fired up? Congratulations, man. We just made a trade. We traded up to get you here in the 2nd round, and you're going to be a hell of a Raider, man.
Thank you so much, Coach.
All right, where are you at right now?
I'm at home.
All right, you tell everybody back home you're going to play for the Raiders. I'll call you later. Enjoy your family. God bless you, man. I want to know, you want to be a Las Vegas Raider?
Yes, I love me.
You're hot, man. We're going to pick you. We are really jacked up, brother. You fired up?
Yes, sir. I'm fired up.
All right, where the heck are you right now?
I'm down in Myrtle Beach with my family.
All right, you go tell your family to pack their bags. You're going to Vegas. Hey, Malcolm.
Hey, what's up?
You feel good, man? You excited?
Yes, I am.
Last time we drafted a pass rusher out of Buffalo, he was pretty good. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, I got a good one right now, too.
I know, we're really excited. I've been sweating bullets here, man. I've been really nervous about you falling to us, but we're going to send your pick in right now. Congratulations. I'll be in touch with you here in a little while, but turn on the TV because your name's about to come up, all right?
Well, Adam, I'm sure draft day is the exception, but I know for me personally, I don't answer phone calls if I don't, one, have the number saved or it's just a number I don't recognize. Do you think ever draft calls go unanswered on draft day?
It has to have happened, right? Like, there has to be a guy even that wasn't even looking for his phone. He's just like, I'm just going to play video games and hang out. I'm not going to answer the phone today. But I do think, listen, if you're in the draft pool, you're probably checking the numbers. And if the number is from an area code with an NFL team, you're probably more likely to answer, I think.
Okay, so you think Alex
yeah.
Leatherwood saw that 702 and was like, I'm answering this.
He's like, I better get this. And you've got all the family around. I think it's the more later guys. Like, I think there are guys, listen, I've been to some draft parties. When I was in college, I had a couple friends that were projected draft picks. Like, everybody is sitting around waiting for that phone to ring. So I think for the most part, that's how it is. But there are guys, I think, that are just like, if I get drafted, I get drafted. I'll go where I'm going to go. Maybe they're just cool and casual that day. They don't answer the phone. I would be freaking out. Like, why isn't this phone ringing? Is the reception good? Do I get service? Like,
Did I
checking
pay the
all
bill?
Yeah, that's definitely key for guys that are in college. They're just not yet in the pros. So, yeah, those are all the questions. But I'm sure it's happened before.
Well, we are going to take one more quick break. When we come back, we'll get an update from Cleveland and see how excited that city was to host the NFL draft.
You can tell how excited the city is and was to host the draft. Finally, the football team here is good, right? It's been a really, really long time. So I think first and foremost, that added to the enthusiasm.
Welcome back to the Vegas Nation Best of the Draft show. I'm Cassie Soto alongside Adam Hill here.
Yeah, here at the South Point Sportsbook. And with his take on the Raiders draft class, here is sports columnist Ed Graney.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Well, look, obviously, Mike Mayock, John Gruden, they know there's a lot of help needed on defense. They're not a good defensive team. So they take Alex Leatherwood, the tackle of Alabama, in the first round, and then they went all defense until the 7th round. What they did is they filled positions of need on paper. They needed safety, Trayvon Moring. Malcolm Kuntz, the linebacker, needs to add muscle, maybe a third down player at this point. Divine Diablo, the Virginia Tech defensive back, needs to bulk up a little. We don't know where he'll translate to a linebacker. They got the Tyree Gillespie, the kid, the safety out of Missouri. Really good against the run, not great against coverage. Sounds a lot like another guy, which is Jonathan Abram. Nate Hobbs, the cornerback from Illinois, kid who's overcome a lot in his life, lost his dad, lost his grandma and uncle within a year. He's overcome a lot. He's ready to come. He says there's always been a chip in his shoulder. He's going to have to prove himself in terms of being a boom or a bust, which at Illinois, they didn't really know how he'd translate to the league. Obviously, Jimmy Morrissey, the Pittsburgh center, ends it out for the Raiders. They obviously need depth and competition at center. But everything looks good on paper, but paper doesn't win football games. These guys are going to have to come into this organization, prove they can compete and take spots, and make Gus Bradley's defense a lot better than the one he inherited from last year. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Ed. Well, he makes a good point, Adam, that it doesn't matter what the paper says, how good they are. If they get an A++ on their draft grades, it doesn't matter until they step on the field.
Listen, everyone in the world that follows football gives draft grades, and they decide whether it's a good pick or not. We all do it, and we all check them out. We all read them. We all read what everybody else writes. Means zero. I mean, less than zero. It matters what you do on the field, and that's what we're going to find out. Like, how are they going to perform when it's actually time to step on the field? That's what we'll find out from them.
All right, well, now that the 2021 NFL Draft is over, Las Vegas is officially on the clock for the 2022 NFL Draft. Our own Sam Gordon was out in Cleveland for this year's events.
I've had a blast out here in Cleveland this weekend, and just in being here and interacting and experiencing the whole draft, you can tell how excited the city is and was to host the draft. Finally, the football team here is good, right? It's been a really, really long time. So I think first and foremost, that added to the enthusiasm. But in a lot of ways, the draft, I think, resembles some hope, like a light at the end of the tunnel. I think context matters. We didn't have the 2020 draft in Las Vegas because of the coronavirus pandemic, and the fact that Cleveland was able to host the draft. Like I said, it's just a light at the end of the tunnel. It felt normal for the first time in a long time. I think the city, I think the world started to feel normal. And I think, just seeing the broadcast, I imagine you guys back home in Vegas could feel that as well, just kind of seeing how everything played out. But there were fans from all over the NFL, decked out in all their gear, eager to cheer on their teams. It was an unbelievable showcase for the city. They incorporated the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They incorporate First Energy Stadium where the Browns play. You incorporate Lake Erie. All these landmarks that Clevelanders are so proud of were incorporated and showcased for a national audience. And when we have the draft in Las Vegas next year, I think it's going to be that and then times 10, because there is no city in the world like Vegas. we had the opportunity to see kind of the blueprint for what the NFL was planning on doing last year in 2020. And I imagine it's going to be more of the same, but maybe even bigger, because now Allegiant Stadium is open. It's ready to roll. It's finished. And that wouldn't have been the case in 2020. I know the league is super intentional about including First Energy Stadium because of the size of the campus and because of all the opportunities it can provide. So it'll be interesting to see how Vegas builds on what Cleveland did this year. But it was an incredible experience. I cannot wait until the draft comes to Vegas. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Sam. It is time for another quick break, but when we come back, we will hear from a few of the newest Las Vegas Raiders. Stay with us.
Raider Nation! Let's go, baby. I just wanted to thank all the fans that showing love already.
Welcome back to the Vegas Nation Best of the Draft show inside of the South Point Sportsbook. Cassie Soto here alongside NFL writer Adam Hill. Adam, the Las Vegas Raiders have a few more defensive players to work with this season after completing the draft.
Yeah, we saw the defense last year was a real problem. Mike Mayock actually talked about that quite a bit this week and said, we knew we had to address the defense. We had to draft a lot of players on that side of the ball. They started offense with Alex Leatherwood at the top, but then it was defense all the way until the last pick of the draft. And there's some really intriguing prospects here. Obviously, we talk about Trayvon Merrick. He's going to be a starter, or at least very likely the starter at free safety going into the season. You talk about Malcolm Koonce. I think that's a guy who really is intriguing for this team. He can get to the passer. That's all he can really do right now. He's not a complete player at all, but he can definitely get to the passer. He's got a lot of really good rush moves. He's going to be a third down specialist. That's something the Raiders have needed for a long time. Nate Hobbs is a really athletic player, really fast, has all the tools you want. Wasn't always on point in his coverage at Illinois, but he's a guy that has all the tools and the skills, and they think that they can turn him into a more refined player at this level. So you've got the holes filled. Now it's about bringing in some players that might develop for you down the road.
Well, how about we hear from those players themselves and how excited they are to play in the NFL and for the Las Vegas Raiders.
I was kind of, broken down. Yeah, I thought I was going to go a little bit earlier, but I could not be happier that I am a Raider right now. So, I was talking to my agent about free agency, and we had, teams calling and discussing options. So that's really what got me, down a little bit. And then once I heard, Mr. Mayock's voice on my phone, I was like, my dream is coming true, and it's just beginning. So I talked to Mr. Mayock and then Coach Gruden, and then Coach Gruden gave the phone over to Coach Cable. And obviously, I promised all three of them they're going to get everything out of me. I'm going to work my tail off and give that organization everything I have, and help this team win some games and hopefully a Super Bowl. So it means everything to get drafted to the Raiders. I can't wait.
I was a 5th round draft pick. I'm thankful to God. I'm just so thankful to the Raiders organization for taking a chance on me, but I won't forget that. I won't forget the guys who are taken before me, the guys who I feel like didn't do as much as me, but we're still picked up, and I'm just so thankful for the Raiders for taking a chance. They won't regret it. They're getting the best underdog they ever drafted in football. One guy's enforcing and one guy's taking it, and I'm going to be the one that takes it, not receives. And the Raiders, they like that a lot about me. I think that's the one reason why they think I could play nickel. I could be a cover guy and a tackler, playing between the tackles, and just be a versatile guy for them.
Now let's hear from the guy who played a huge role in drafting these players, Raiders general manager Mike Mayock.
I think we did want to address the offensive line. I think we've done it consistently since making some moves in the offseason. Really happy with Leatherwood. The kid we got in the 7th round is awesome, Morrissey. I mean, he was a walk-on at Pitt that ended up starting for 4 years, being a 2-time captain. The Senior Bowl called him the day before the game. He flew in and played most of the game at center and guard. He's just one of those overachievers. He won the same award that Hunter Renfrow won a couple of years ago as the top former walk-on in the country. So we love the 2 offensive linemen. I told you guys last night we knew we had to get better on defense, and I thought the board matched up with what we needed to do. I thought one interesting note today was that I had no intention of going here today. We had no intention of trying to get Tyree Gillespie, but at a certain point he stood out like a sore thumb on our board. And again, It wasn't about need. It was about what we thought was a really good football player available much later than we thought he'd be available. So we traded up and got Gillespie. You know, the first press conference I had here with John Gruden when I was first hired, we talked about foundation players. And I think when we stick to that prescription, we're pretty good. And we got a bunch of foundation guys. You know, we got guys that love football, have a passion for the game, want to work hard, want to practice hard. We focused on that in free agency. We focused on it in the draft. I think John and I are kind of joined at the hip. You know, that's the kind of guys we want in here. So that's kind of what we feel good about right now, is that we think we have a pretty good mix, and most of the guys here really love it.
And for more on how the Raiders did in the 2021 NFL Draft, here's Raiders beat writer Vinny Bonsignore.
Thanks, guys. Well, I can tell you that they're pretty excited over at the Raiders facility in Henderson. This was a big draft for them, obviously, and we obviously saw where the focus was: offensive line and defense, period, exclamation point. And the Raiders feel like they really addressed, obviously, two starting needs: Alex Leatherwood at right tackle and Trayvon Moehrig as their safety. But today's picks, and combined with yesterday's picks, all almost exclusively defensively, really creates depth. It creates competition. They really feel they have a guy that's going to be able to come in and compete at a slot cornerback position. So, and what this draft does is it shows the impact of the new defensive coordinator, Gus Bradley, his staff, the guys that they've brought in. And I think that the Raiders decision makers, John Gruden included, really heeded some of the input from Gus Bradley and Ron Miles, new secondary coach, and Richard Smith, the defensive or the linebacker coach, and obviously their defensive, Rod Marinelli, the defensive line coach. So heavy on defense. Thought they filled some holes, created some depth, and it's going to be an interesting training camp for some of these veteran players who have a fight on their hands now to keep their jobs.
We are going to take one more quick break, but when we come back, we will talk about the 2022 NFL Draft that is planned to take place right here in Las Vegas. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Vegas Nation Best of the Draft show inside of the South Point Sportsbook. Cassie Soto and Adam Hill here with you.
Yeah, and some of the newest Raiders have a special message for the fans.
I'm out here at Allegiant Stadium. It's almost time to get to work. Let's go, Raider Nation.
Raider Nation! Let's go, baby. I just wanted to thank all the fans that showing love already. And I'm just letting y'all know I won't let y'all down. I'm coming to work. And let's go get another Super Bowl.
What's up, Raider Nation? I'm blessed to be a part of this organization. Let's get to work.
Raider Nation, thank you so much for this opportunity. You don't understand how much this means to me. I'm going to give you my all every day, 100%. Just win, baby. Let's get it.
Well, Adam, those players are obviously fired up about coming to Las Vegas, being drafted by the Raiders, and hopefully this time next year, Adam, it will be their newest team city hosting the NFL Draft.
Yeah, that's right. Vegas is on the clock to host the 2022 NFL Draft, and as of right now, we can expect some of the same plans that were supposed to happen last year.
The city of Las Vegas was ready to have its moment in football history by hosting the 2020 NFL Draft, but the coronavirus pandemic diverted the event to a virtual setting. But no need to worry, because come 2022, we will finally get to see that red carpet stage on the fountains of the Bellagio. As of now, the original plans for the 2020 draft will be the same for 2022. The Bellagio stage will serve as the red carpet area where draft prospects will be ferried by boat to and from the stage. Players will then be transported down Flamingo Road to the draft experience and main stage outside the Caesars Forum Convention Center.
I'm excited as heck about it because I saw the plans for last
year. Time.
And it would have been just an outrageous weekend, and I think it's going to happen again. There's no question about it. This city knows how to put on an event. There's nothing like it. And then, coupled with the NFL's ability to build up the draft the way they do, it's going to be a marriage made in heaven.
2022, the city of Las Vegas will finally get its spotlight in the NFL history, this historic moment for the city, Adam. And really neat here that Allegiant Stadium now is officially done being built. It wasn't in 2020, so now they can showcase the Raiders Stadium.
Yeah, for sure. And this is what it was all about, becoming an NFL city. It's not just about the team. It's very cool, of course, that the Raiders are here, that we get NFL games every Sunday. But it's about these big events. The Super Bowl will be here soon, the draft. Las Vegas is going to be a hub for the NFL. I'm very excited about it. Everybody's very excited about it. I can't wait to see what the buzz is like in this city next year. And I'm sure Raiders fans hope that they'll be picking toward the end of that draft, because that means they had a successful season. You don't want to be picking early on.
They're going to have the first overall pick, Adam?
They do not want to, for sure. They want to be picking 32nd. That's the goal. But of course, a lot of the players that we found out from this draft are going to determine a lot of where the Raiders do pick next year.
Well, as we wrap up this show, Adam, just leave us here with the last few comments. The Raiders in the 2021 NFL Draft, how are they looking forward now to the 2021 season?
Yeah, you continue to fill out the roster. Undrafted free agents will continue to kind of be signed along the way. There's still some big-time players out there, free agents and potentially players available for trades as well. The roster is nowhere close to complete, but I think the Raiders are excited that they filled up their starting lineup. They believe they have a starter at every position, and now it's just about tweaking it, getting better and better everywhere that you can, adding more talent to the roster, and being able to compete when the season kicks off next year.
Well, that is a wrap for our Vegas Nation Best of Draft Review show. Thank you so much for watching. He's Adam Hill. I'm Cassie Soto. Be sure to keep up to date with us at vegasnation.com. Thank you so much for watching. The Vegas Nation Best of the Draft show was sponsored by South Point Sportsbook.